But until then, I ain't quitting. I'm not going to quit until I make it, and I will make it.
That's my next thing into being a better player is kind of maintaining all this stuff and then just basically trying to hit more fairways.
I'm not a big goal guy. I mean, I just feel like I keep getting better and kind of take that each day and see where it takes you.
I was up there in the sense of being able to accomplish some unbelievable things with some great players and a very challenging and deep generation of players.
If I take care of the small things and I do what I want to do, then the results kind of take care of themselves.
Yeah. I think you'd be surprised. I think there's some better athletes. I mean, you think you're a good athlete, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then. I think there's a lot of guys that are pretty good athletes. We know there's guys that have a high level hand-eye coordination. You could go with Steve Marino and play darts against this dude. He's going to freaking kill you.
I know.
Or any backyard game that involves hand-eye coordination. There's some world-class ping pong players on tour. There's some great pool players. Yeah, as far as jumping, that's stuff that you have to maintain and like really do to stay good at. Maybe, DJ and some guys like that.
I've seen you do gainers over like bushes in the pools.
I can definitely. Well, it's part of that is also you have to. That's mental. That's like I don't give a crap.
You have to be mental.
I was
to do
flipping. So like where I grew up, Eastern North Carolina, if you couldn't flip, if you couldn't do a front like a round off back handspring or round off back flip, you were like you were a
kook.
You were a total kook. I mean, where I grew up, it was like, it was like your black boys and your white boys. And the white boys that were cool could flip because the black boys taught us.
Okay.
And I was like, if you couldn't flip at recess, you're like out there like with your thumb up your butt. Like you were
You're a dork.
You're a dork. God. I mean, you had to be able to flip to be good and to get basketball for homeroom. You just had to be. You had to flip. So I learned to flip in like maybe third or fourth grade.
But let's be honest. Get you a baseball, a football, soccer, tennis. You're gonna look like you've done it. Half the tour.
Oh, dude,
it's embarrassing.
But they get a little one-dimensional on golf.
Where did you get that work ethic? Do you think that came late, or did you always have that?
I think it was just like the only way. I think that was where I was at.
This is kind of who you are too, though.
Yeah, you're 100 or nothing.
You're full on or checked out.
Yeah, not as much now. I don't know if I still have that kind of work ethic that I had. I had a belief.
We're getting old.
Exactly. I had a belief at that point. I was like, man, it's 100%. It's everything. I'm gonna do it, and it is what it is. And then I remember talking to my mom. She was like, I mean, I was like chopping or something and not doing any good. And she was like, what do you think, man? You go back to Montana? I had already become an EMT. I had it made out in Montana. I was going to live I'd be working at the Yellowstone Club just chilling right now. But I was like.
I got some friends that are members out there.
We really fucked that up, Billy.
I
sounds like, a lot better than PGA Tour Live right now.
I said, Mom, if I fail at Q school and feel like I play really well and don't get through, all right, I'll quit. But until then, I ain't quitting. I'm not going to quit until I make it, and I will make it. So she's like, all right, bud.
Way to will it.
So you had you still had the 15-year-old mentality in a 25-year-old body.
Right.
And you'd sort of like left for 10 years, but you were like, I'm mad. I'm just going to keep going.
And if I would have gone straight into it,
huge. That
Costa Rica trip was so vital because if you look at the dudes on like the WSL, every dude's just ripped. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're in such great shape because you're using your core and you're swimming. Your shoulders are perfect. It's not like it's a huge leg workout, but you're just in great shape. I came back in incredible shape.
They're big on that breath work too, which I like.
I wasn't really doing that down there, but all I was doing is surfing. I wasn't working. I was surfing.
You held under for so long all the time.
I was eating. All I ate in Costa Rica every single day is rice, beans, and eggs for breakfast, rice, like smoothies and stuff at lunch, and then rice, beans, and chicken or like ground beef at dinner and smoothies. And then like liquor and beer.
And that too.
but I mean, that's diet. All I ate was rice, beans, eggs, and chicken and smoothies. Tons of smoothies. I mean, I was
importantly nothing out of a packet. No preservatives.
Nothing, dude. I was feeling like $1 billion when I came back from there. I was just like fired up to go do whatever.
I'm guessing you think that, I am going to win a PGA Tour event, even though I haven't played competitive golf in 10 years.
Yeah, probably wasn't thinking that far down, but I knew I was going to get on tour. I knew I'd get on tour. Or, it could have been a false sense of confidence or whatever, but I had the picture in my mind that I would be out there. I don't know about winning, or I don't know what kind of success I'd have, but I knew I was going to get out there. I just told myself I was, and so I was grinding.
And then your first win was out west, out in the mountains of Reno.
Tahoe. Yeah, that was...
felt comfortable?
Felt comfortable, the sage all around me. I would walk down the fairway, place. Grab the sage and rub it all over my body. It was like my deodorant. It smells so good. I was all vibed out. Yeah,
that's an underrated event because it was always opposite, but Montreux was good track.
I won tiny events, but they were cool. That golf course was so cool.
What was the other one?
Cool. The old Sanderson Farms.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's kind of a whack golf course, but fun. I remember I saw
that was the best greens on tour.
Stat. I was I think I missed 18 greens that week, but I got up and down 17 times. So work on your short game, fellas.
That's right.
That's the key.
Yep.
Key to scoring for sure.
I was going to say stay in school, but I don't think you subscribe to that.
I mean, college would have been cool. But, I don't know.
Well, this has been the most fun I've ever had on a podcast.
Yeah, this was good.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Yeah, dude.
We should...
You going to scratch the itch? You turn 50 soon.
Come on.
I'm going to scratch it. I'm going to definitely go to Q school.
Hell yeah.
They only take 5 dudes.
How old are you?
I'll grind 48.
Are you
I guess
really,
48
bro?
and a half.
Just round up.
So I'll go. I think they give you 2 times. I get to
that's
go
the other
2
thing
years.
too, kids. Stay active. Look how young this guy looks for 48.
Yeah, that's going to be the key, how I feel then. As long as I stay active, I still actually hit it great. I hit the ball real nice.
Shock.
It's just whether I'm going to be able to putt and chip. There's days that I putt decent, and
your body feel decent
I putt
enough?
Shitty. I might have to have maybe a left hip surgery or maybe another left knee surgery. But other than that, I'm pretty good.
Dude, get them done at the same time.
Dude, they're like miracles. Those guys will get you in and out with a little quick surge. Get you a couple Vikes, get you a couple Perkies, and you'll be on your feet hitting balls in 2 weeks. It's crazy.
No problem.
You won the 150th Open at St. Andrews. You're in the history books forever. How bad do you want to win a green jacket?
Yeah, I feel like that's...
Do you think you're going to win one?
Yeah.
That is sick.
But I feel like that's my next one that I really want to tick off. I usually don't expect much of myself. I'm a very much a process guy. Like Pricey says, there's no BS when I get out to the range. I tick the boxes, I go home, and then I fish or mow the lawn or something. But that one for me, I think because I've played so well, I genuinely think I've played my best golf around Augusta. It just hasn't lined up. When you win a tournament, you get a lucky bounce or, the putts just fall in. I genuinely think for 3 or 4 times I've played the best golf I've ever played around Augusta, and nothing's just lined up.
Yeah, and when it does...
So you just keep doing what you're doing. Don't change a thing.
Yeah, no, there's nothing to change. It's just, more putts need to go in or...
What about when Cam Young makes the...
Yeah, that was
birdie eagle on 18.
So that was a weird scenario as well because he was, I was playing good on the back 9. I think we both had 1 or 2 under on the front 9, and I just kept making birdies, and he just kind of kept making birdies too, but he just didn't make as many as me. He was only 2 behind.
Were y'all feeding off each other at that point?
I think so. I get along with Cam pretty good. I've played with him a few times before that. He's a good lad. His caddy lives here in Jacksonville, so we've spoke a bunch. Yeah, we both like the local pub, PVO. So I see him down there a few times. But yeah, we had a really good vibe going in that group, and there was a lot of kind of momentum in that group.
Well, and everyone was kind of all over Rory too that day, and he was stuck in neutral basically.
Yeah, I feel like that's with those last 5 or 6 holes there, they're hard to make birdies on, and when you're just trying to make pars, it's almost even harder.
So as good as you guys were playing that back nine, there was a little chatter. You were or was it everyone was game face? Back 9, St. Andrews.
Yeah, there was definitely less. It wasn't like we were walking down the fairway holding hands, but...
That would have been cool if you did. 2 cams skipping down the fairway.
What's the night like before the final round? What'd you do? Were you staying with Sam that week?
No, we were staying. Sam was in a house. I stayed at the hotel. Night before the final round, I was so pissed at myself because I had the lead on Friday and I felt as though I played really good on Saturday. Just nothing went in. So I spent a bit of time on the green with Grant, my coach, and I felt like I was hitting good putts. They just weren't going in, like that happens. So before I went to bed, I just wanted to see some putts go in. This is like 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night. We're out there after media and stuff. And I was there for maybe 5 minutes just watching the putts go in. Nothing crazy, no technical, nothing changed. It's just I wanted to see the ball go in. And then I think I was so tired from the day. It was windy. It was a hard day out there. Just tired. Went back, had room service, went to sleep. Like I never have trouble sleeping. I'm the best sleeper in the world.
Isn't it amazing how much a little wind and cold will beat you up at the end of a day? I mean, you're exhausted after a windy, cold day.
Speaking of Grant, that was the first time you had worked in person with him for quite a couple of years, right?
Yeah, it was about 2.5 years since I'd seen Grant. Yeah, so it was awesome. He come the week before to the Scottish Open. First time the whole, I guess, team had been there all together for a long time. So it was good. We did some really good work. And on the weekend at the Scottish Open, I really felt like my game was just kicking into gear. I think we had 2 or 3 weeks off before that. And, you just lose a little bit of that kind of competition, I guess, mojo. On the weekend, I played really good at the Scottish Open and then felt really confident going into the next week. I knew I've played around St Andrews before. I love the place. I think being from Queensland in the tropics, it's genuinely difficult to play in cold, shit weather. So the weather had to be good. I don't think I can mentally get around contending in an Open when it's like sideways rain and cold. I just don't think I can do that. I don't know. I just never done it.
So my whole thing is with the way golf's changed is TrackMan. I think kids at 12 and 13 and 14, we were taught to swing smooth, find your swing. Now they're just taught to rip it like post-Tiger. How much stuff are you doing with TrackMan and Grant? Do you just send the numbers to Grant and he looks at it? You don't do TrackMan ever or just when needed?
I think TrackMan's a great tool to create a feel. I think a lot of people think that it's getting rid of feel in the game. I think it's great to feel what you're feeling, whether it's a swing thought or, a posture change or something, and then get a number off it to then create that feel. And then, you feel confident. And
yeah, so it gives you instant feedback. Like, hey, I feel this, but it doesn't work out on TrackMan. If I do this, it works. I thought of it that way.
Are you using it every time you're like having a session on the range?
I would say like 50% of the time. I'm not a massive numbers nerd. Like I basically all I want to know as a player, and same goes with Sam as well, is how far is the ball going? A fade goes whatever,
which changes week to week. In Jeddah.
But when the technical stuff is off, I think it's a great way. It's a great tool to have to create the feel and to get back to your kind of stock standard number.
Have you done any of that gears stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I changed. We didn't do any kind of technical changes. I don't think it would be weird for me to say this, but the driver's by far probably the worst club in my bag. I feel comfortable with it, but for some reason it just doesn't want to play up. It always plays up. I think throughout the year, probably about...
Yeah, but clarify, you're not a bad driver of the ball. You're not. It's just not as good as you are from 100 or from chipping over a bunker.
Yeah, I mean, it's not horrendous, but I'd love to hit it. For me, I think, that's my next thing into being a better player is kind of maintaining all this stuff and then just trying to basically trying to hit more fairways. I don't care if I hit it further. I don't want to hit it further. I want to be hitting from the short stuff.
But the crazy thing is to go from where you are now to being like, not Fred Funk, but 12th in fairways hit, it's like 4 or 5%.
It's so minimal.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
To get back to your gears question, we did a bunch of work with driver, kind of different layouts, setups with the driver, different shafts, and we come up with something that's definitely a better fit for me, but I think there's still a lot of work to be done there to make me a better player.
My question is, do you really need all of the top guys to play the same tournaments in elevated events?
Oh, I think you do, because your NFL, you have a stable, elite product. But I understand as a top player why you wouldn't want to do it. Why would you want to play? Like Chris Kirk was going to play Riviera this year because it was elevated, then finally realised after me helping him miss the cut on the bag of Phoenix, he's like, I'm gonna earn more points, which he was 47th in the world trying to hang on to Augusta and more match plays in. I'm going to earn more points playing Honda than I am at Riviera. I don't play well at Riviera. It doesn't matter if it's 50 million. Yep. So that's where golf is different. It's hard to compare that to the NFL or to the NHL, where the elite are playing every game. So I don't know.
I'd be curious, and I think the answer is going to have to come more through TV ratings and that sort of stuff. But
I think there needs to be more movement within that 70 guys, like more opportunity to come in and more opportunity to go out. There
is going to be an opportunity to come in. I think there's 10 coming in, the current 10, which may slide to 46th on the current money list. Get in. So there is going to be opportunity to get in. But we'll see. As long as these PIP people don't get in, you can't get in the start because you're popular. But I do understand. Look, the tournament is putting down 20 million.
I remember like 4 or 5. It might have been like 5 years ago. I think it was Jay's first year, whenever that was. There was an email that got sent out, and it was, "Hey, we're doing this new thing where whoever grows their presence on social media the most wins $100,000." And then second place was 50 and third was 25. And it was like, if Aaron Price had 1,000 followers and you had 20,000, it was basically body fat, done by body fat. Percentage of growth. Yes. So I remember emailing Jay back and being like, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. We're promoting narcissism and insecurity. Like, that's all. Yeah. That's all this is. Ugh. What? And here we are. Here we are. Now we have a PIP.
But I guess I won't mention the name of the tour. Keeps always saying it's got nothing to do with social media, when clearly it does. Because I guess Cantlay won the FedEx that year, didn't get a cent in PIP. Doesn't participate online. So I don't know. It's a mess, but I think it's all going to work out just fine.
Rest of the year, what are the goals?
I'm not a big goal guy. I mean, I just try to feel like I keep getting better, and kind of take that each day and see where it takes you. But I mean, my problem with goals, I mean, you set these outcome goals and this and that, and some golf courses you're just not going to have a chance and to stack up. So
yeah, that's a similar answer we've heard today.
Yeah. Early podcasts, I work obviously sports psychologists, and one guy had it perfectly. But he's like, if you have to say that your goal is to win, you're not in the right elite category. Of course, it's everyone's DNA is to win. It shouldn't even have to be a goal. Mm-hmm. So like maybe 5 wins or something. It's not. You just want to try and win every event.
Yeah, and you've got that first win at Pebble. What was different that week? What do you think clicked?
Well, I mean, I'd been playing really well for a decent stretch there, so
I want to say Matt might have called that one. He was on a stretch.
Did you play really well in Palm Springs the couple of weeks before?
I finished second in Palm Springs a couple weeks before.
So
in the fall of the last tournament, RSM, I was in the second to last group, so I finished 4th. So I'd been playing well, and I just think being around the lead that many times,
I definitely called that one.
Helps out.
It's got to be one of the hardest tournaments to win too. Playing it on so many different courses, pace of play, the AMs getting.
I think it could work both ways.
Yeah, I think it could work both ways.
Yeah, I mean, I had a good partner, and I enjoyed it. For some reason, I seem to do a little bit better when I'm playing with the AMs.
They can relax you, or they can frustrate the living shit out of you. Yeah, it can work both ways.
So, both of those events last year, I had good partners the whole way and really enjoyed the days out there. And we had good weather at both of them, so they're pretty easy days.
Mm-hmm. The best thing you can have an amateur partner in any of those events is someone on the first hole that has a putt for like, I don't know, 10-footer for par, and you're already in for par, and they pick it up. You're like, yes. Like, you just know that they understand that they're the secondary tier. Yeah. Like, let the players play.
Most all of them do that though.
I guess some. I played Pebble a couple of times, but the New Zealand Open and stuff like that, which turned into a pro. I had an American lady. She was crazy high up at Discovery. She was touted. She picked up like a 20-footer on the first hole of a par. And I was like, oh, she was the best amateur partner of all time. As soon as she couldn't contribute, she would get out of our way, get off the green, like too much.
Yeah,
what a legend.
Did y'all play well? I mean, you were playing well year? with your AM though.
I think we finished like 6th or 7th.
Yeah, that always blows my mind.
We made the cut. I think I was tied for the lead at that point. I was in the second to last group, but I think it was Andrew Putnam was tied for the lead as well, and his partner had missed the cut, which is pretty impressive to do. I think he had to help 2 shots for 54 holes and couldn't do it.
Wow. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't.
They had the flip side this year with Rogers. I mean, he was he was playing with Ben Silverman, who was 2 over par through 36 holes, and Rogers was 21 under.
Yeah, how many shots was he getting? 10, I heard.
10, yeah.
Keith Mitchell and Lamonti were talking about that.
It's like a 2.
Yeah,
right?
They said it. Yeah, they said, I looked it up. You know, you Google it when they did the match last summer. It was like a 3 handicap for that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lamonti said it was not even. It was silly.
Yeah. Have you ever had any famous partners there?
I have not. No.
Maybe next year.
Have you, Matt?
I had Billy Walters one year there, the gambler. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Getting good inside information? Any inside info?
This was
I was just playing with
Phil stuff.
I was loving it.
It was probably during it, but
I don't know if this should be on here or not, but I was just playing with Kramer Hickok, and he was saying he's got to know Billy pretty well.
He was a great guy.
He's at a few of the Discovery properties and whatnot, but he was telling me all about different businesses and whatnot, and I made the comment. I assume they would have taken everything when he went to jail here.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Oh no, he's got car dealerships and whatever," and he was running meetings out of prison, getting his bets in for the day.
That's awesome.
That's when you know.
Yeah, that's when you know. No, he was a super cool partner. He it was when Peyton was a free agent. He just left the Colts, and he told me to make a futures play on the Jets because they were going to try and get the Manning brothers both in New York City, and that's where he thought Peyton was going to go. And obviously, he didn't end up going there. He went to Denver, but. That was
Billy was betting on Denver. He was just getting
betting on the come.
Yeah,
maybe
he
was. Yeah, he could have been doing that. Yeah.
Not silly.
Yeah, I'm moving lines over here.
Yeah,
I'm at every little line mover.
No chance. So, are you glad you didn't go to Live?
Well, I think it all worked out pretty well with all the money we've got.
Did it ever get real serious for you? Like where you were like, man,
I would say I was very anti-Live.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an offer, and they put the money in front of me, and you're crazy to not look at it at that point.
Right.
I mean, my whole deal was I would almost feel guilty if you didn't take the money at that point and you went out and got the driver yips or fall down the stairs or whatever happens, and you don't make any money playing golf again. You almost feel guilty that you didn't take it for your wife and kids, future kids, or whatever it might be. That you got to look at it pretty seriously and try and look at it from all angles and make the right decision.
So I qualified for the U.S. Open after my freshman year at Wingfoot. I played really good the first round, shot I think 4 or 5 over. I shot 5 over. I started triple, bogey. So I was 5 over after 3 holes. And then I made 15 straight pars. And I was in that was the tough one that year.
I think it was like
top 16, top 20.
Tough ass golf course.
And then I came out the next day and I, obviously still young, still learning things. I just, let the moment, overtake me. I mean, I just missed the cut, but I remember going back to Gainesville and talking to Buddy, and Buddy's like, what did you learn? And I said a couple things, and I said, do you think you can play out there? I said, yeah, I think 3 more years here of learning from you, getting better. I think I'll be able to compete out there. And so that was the first moment after playing the U.S. Open that I was like, I can make it on the PGA Tour and I can be successful. I'm the guy who, still holds to the, I guess, maybe I hit my prime in 35. And I mean, I won the FedEx Cup when I was 27 and had 3 wins by the time I was 27. But obviously I had some years there where I didn't do very much. And then the last couple of years have been really good. And I feel like I've still got a lot of ways to get better, but I feel like I've learned what I need to learn how to prepare for tournaments, learn how to go about it, learn, several different things. And I feel like, I think the next 5 to 7 years will clearly be the best 5 to 7 years of any time in my career. And it's weird to think that, I turned 36 in a month's time and, I don't think I'm 36. Obviously I have 3 kids on the age of 8 but there's times the body feels it once in a while. But I still feel very young. Still, as Matt says, you boys said, I still have tons of energy. So that's never an issue at all. But yeah, I think the next 5 to 7 years, I'm excited about what is in store and what's to come, because I think there's some really cool accomplishments that I'm going to be able to check the boxes on and then leave the tour and be like, wow, for that generation, for my time period, was I the best of that generation? No, but I was up there in the sense of being able to accomplish some unbelievable things with some great players and a very challenging and deep generation of players. Competitions, I've always said, is a good thing, and it's actually helped the PGA Tour. There's a lot of things that a lot of players have tried to get done behind closed doors for a handful plus years, and the tour just never really, wanted to do it. But now we're in a position where they have to do it, which is great. And
they learn a lesson for the good.
Exactly. And so, I'm happy that the PGA Tour is making changes, and we're going to be fine. We're going to improve as an organization. We're going to get better. We're going to finally grow. Where I was worried about with the product model we had for the last 60 plus years, was it sustainable for another 25 years, 25 years time? And that being, the increases in sponsorship and everything else they're going to require, are they going to still be able to increase at the levels they've been with the product that we had? And I'm not saying the players, but the model that we had to, because it was sort of becoming just, guys were over it. They wanted something different.
So your swing, I mean, you live in Tempo Town. How long have you had that type of action?
Rolls out of bed with that, dude.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've played with Matt and Aaron for a lot of years, so it's kind of always been that way. I certainly work to maintain it. And
the tempo or the swing?
The tempo, yeah.
Really?
It's all relative. So like, quick for me is probably not going to look quick to the naked eye, but it still is enough for me to hit a shitty shot, So my favorite drill to do, and I do it all the time, is I'll, with a 6, probably a 7 or 8 iron, typically, just a nice all the way to the top, and full 1 Mississippi, and then come down in unison. And so it's interesting. It's like I can make a full backswing, and I could stay up there for 10 seconds and then hit it solid.
Really?
Like it's funny when I try to I'll show other people and try to get them to do it, and they're like, all right, and they're up there for like a 1/10 of a second. Like, how was that?
Like Matsuyama kind of?
Yeah, like even longer. Like I'll stay up there for really a long time. So it's, if anything, when I get off a little bit, I will tend to, my lower body will start a little bit early before my backswing really has time to finish and get into that nice pause. So if I can just get what I feel like is everything kind of hips, shoulders, club head, hands, all that kind of coming down at the same time and the same speed. And that's one of those feel versus real things. I know that's not what's actually happening, but that's what it feels like to me. Like everything goes to the top, it stops in unison, and then it starts down in unison. And that's when my rhythm feels the best, and that's when my ball striking is the best.
So you practice the exaggeration of that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'll stay to make sure that they start all at the same time. It helps for me to have them stopped for a little while up there at the top.
Wow. I'm taking mental notes.
You're so right about that pause at the top too when you tell people to do it, because if you lined our swings up side by side and started them at the same time, I'm probably done with my swing by the time your backswing is completed. And
that'd be pretty close.
Yeah, but to your point, there are times, like I've had coaches where they'll say, all right, just try and pause at the top here. And I think I'm just fucking camping out up there, man. And there's no pause. There's no pause.
Yeah, it's hilarious for me to watch people try to do it, because people are just not physically capable of stopping.
I'm teaching Liam, he's 10 now, but he's not super into golf. But when he gets into golf, I am making him pause at the top, because you can't teach that later in life. It's not something you can all of a sudden just get a pause at the top. It's something that
some of that stuff needs to be learned early. Like the kids playing baseball, I want to try and get them. I know they're young, but I want them to be able to get a good throwing technique.
What do you think's in store for you the rest of the year?
I don't know. It's
we're doing this right now, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Schedule's changed.
This past week was a little bit of a whirlwind for sure. Just trying to kind of wrap my head around everything that's going on. But it's, I've never been someone who's set outcome goals at all. So I've just focused on the process that I want to put in every day. And so I've never had goals like of even like, oh, I want to win 3 times, or I want to do this or accomplish this or whatever. Like I feel like if I take care of the small things and I do what I want to do, then the results kind of take care of themselves. But right now I am kind of probably in need of a little bit of a mental reset. Like, okay, what now? But I mean, my 2 goals for this year were to work harder in the gym on my off weeks, because I've always worked really hard during the off season, and then I start traveling on the road and I don't do shit.
That's hard to do it on the road.
Yeah, and especially like the real focus for me is to just crush it the weeks that I am at home. Like I'm gonna go work out today, but it probably won't be anything too crazy. But really like go hard on my weeks where I'm at home. And then I also I found myself last year in the fall, especially falling into a bad habit, like with my self-talk on the golf course, and I was getting into way too often where I'd, hit a bad shot or have a bad hole and be like, oh, you suck, just kind of like almost like a depressed, like, down on myself kind of feeling. And so I've tried to make the beginning of this year, this was, like I said, this was one of 2 goals. So this was big for me. Switch that to more of a, you're better than this. Like, I can get pissed off. It's better for me to get pissed off than to, I'll never be somebody that walks around there and be like, oh, it's okay. I just hit it in the water. That's fine. Yeah.
But people think that just because of the persona, the weeks they see you're playing well, Paul Azinger. But obviously not the case. There's no one that's ever succeeded at golf that didn't get
the
pissed
quietest
off.
ones get this sneaky pissed off.
No, I get really upset, but I'm fine with that. I'm fine with being pissed off, but it needed to switch to a place of like, like I said, you're better than this. To expect more of myself. That like, and that's just like as a total. Even though it's 2 different variations of being angry, it's a complete 180 in how you feel about yourself.
It's wild. That's the only place it really happens to is the golf course. I mean, you don't get home and be like, oh, I was such a bad dad today. I mean, you can really rip yourself apart.
Yeah, you obviously goes without saying you can't hang on to it. You need to get mad and get rid of it. I was always very good at
that. It's damn near impossible for your golf when it's going bad to trickle into.
I used to joke that I would fight Mike Tyson after a 3-putt, and I probably would have. He would have punched me in the face, but I would have wanted to be punched.
They need punching bags behind every green. And you can decide what you want to do. You can kick it, karate kick. That was a signature move.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yeah, Sawyer dropped his iPad on his toe the other day while we were in Orlando, and he's like looking at it, swollen a little bit. He's like, "Do you think my toe's broken?" And talking about it. I was like, yeah, I mean, maybe it is and maybe isn't, but what you can do for a broken toe is nothing. Last time I broke a toe, I took a week off and then I just kept playing.
Yeah.
He's like, how'd you break your toe again? I was like, I kicked my golf bag hard.
I remember that.
Yeah. It happens.